What it is, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. It is your old Professor Pilk, and today we're going to be talking about the Greninja Raid that is actually coming back in, well, a little more than 24, a little less than 24 hours, actually, at this point. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, whatever that is your time, the Greninja Raid will be returning. Now, this is a golden opportunity to get a mon that otherwise really doesn't exist in the game. Now, obviously, you can get Froakies and Wonder Trades. A lot of us have been receiving. You really got to take a nap here. We're working. We're trying to do it. We're trying to teach, and you're just gonna. All right, well, just ignore him. Is a great Pokemon. Horrible manners. Horrible manners. Nevertheless, this raid event has proven extremely challenging for quite a few people. In fact, we covered this on my old channel, Raptor's Delight, and I'm going to be moving all this content over here going forward. So if you guys are enjoying the Pokemon content, please do subscribe and support the channel. Make sure you guys hit that like button. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and take a look at the Raid Greninja. Let's first of all understand what we're up against. If you haven't faced him yet, you need to know what you're actually going to be facing. And then we'll talk about what you need to do to take this Pokemon on. So, here's Greninja. He's going to be basically a level 100. He's going to be exceptionally tough. And here's what he's going to be coming at you with. Moves are Gunk Shot. Gunk Shot being a poison physical type, 120 power but only 80% accuracy. Hydro Pump. Water special attack. Now, it is worth noting, because he is Poison Tera. That means Gunk Shot and Hydro Pump both have Stab. Very dangerous moves. Hydro Pump, personally, for me, has proven to be a little more challenging. Well, it might just be the mon that I've chosen. But, nevertheless, Hydro Pump Water Special. Notice the special stat is a bit higher. Again, though, only 80% accuracy. Though, Hydro Pump proved really challenging for me. Because when it hit seemed to hit harder than anything else. Which, you know, he's water dark. So it's only got Stab once. I don't know. It was a pretty challenging situation though. Nevertheless, Gunk Shot, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam. Ice Beam, it's a good attack, right? Ice, special, 90 power, 100 accuracy, but no stab effect on that. Now, end all be all, my number one most hated move, the bane of my existence, Night Slash. Once again, he is a water dark type, so you do get some effects from that. And it's only a power 70 with accuracy 100, and it's a physical attack, so it's a little, lower on this side. But here's the deal. Night Slash has a really high critical rate. And I got crit a ton. I only realized now that my gray shirt is green screening out for some reason. I apologize. It's probably very distracting. But nevertheless, ADD aside, Night Slash hurt a lot. Night Slash was absolutely terrifying and nigh insurmountable at times. However, I'm going to show you two Pokemon today that you can take in there that 100% will handle this situation. One of them with relative ease, the other with absolute ease. So, let's talk about them real quick. Oh, the other two things that you really need to understand here before we get into that, and I almost forgot to mention, there are two extra actions here. Raid Mon can have extra actions. So, he also has Toxic Spikes and Double Team. Double Team just, it is what it is. It's not a hugely insurmountable thing. It's just kind of an effect he puts in place. Toxic Spikes, on the other hand, on the surface seem really scary. Because if you faint and you come back in, Toxic Spikes are going to hurt. They're not even going to hurt. They're just going to cause poison. So if you faint and come back in, you're instantly poisoned. But as we're going to find out here in a moment, if you faint anyway, you're doing it wrong. And you'd have to restart anyway. It's just simply not going to work if you even faint once. So honestly, Toxic Spikes and Double Team, annoyances, But for the teams we're going to build here, not really a big deal. Okay, let's talk about the different mon that you can actually bring into this fight. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about here is a very familiar face. Got a lot of Charmanders there still. And that would be our old boy, Slowbro. So, the Slowbro build is almost identical to the build that we used for Cinderace. Okay? And as far as moves go, we're still going to use Stored Power, Nasty Plot, Iron Defense, and Slack Off. Now, Slack Off is a healing move, and first and foremost, I kind of considered it a last-ditch effort, because the problem is Slack Off's very slow, and the speed stat's already pretty slow, so you kind of are waiting till the end of the match to get healing, and if you're in the realm of possibility to dying to a critical hit, you might just want to do a cheer heal first. You only get 3 of them, so if you run out of them, you can definitely use Slack Off. I've actually given Slack Off a little bit of extra. It normally would be 5 PP. I gave it some PP ups, but the reality is that kind of was a mistake, and I would never make that mistake again. Now, Iron Defense, we already talked about 2 big attacks that are physical attacks. Water, Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is a special attack, and it already hurts pretty bad, but not a huge amount you're going to be able to do about that here for our purposes today. We want to work mostly on self-buffs, and that's going to be the key aspect to this, okay? So, you're going to do Iron Defense 3 times, and then you're going to do Nasty Plot 3 times. Iron Defense increases your physical defense. The downside of that is Gunk Shot is going to basically be nullified by the time you get 2 of those out. The third one's going to make Gunk Shot basically irrelevant. But Night Slash will still happen, and with fair regularity, only because it can actually penetrate your defenses at that point. Night Slash has a really high critical rate and will be a problem. Now, once you have 3 Iron Defenses and Nasty Plots out, you do Stored Power. Remember, Stored Power is not an insanely powerful move by itself, but it gets a big boost for every stat you've got. So at that point, you've got +6 in physical defense, which counts, +6 in special attack, and you're doing Stored Power, which is a special attack. By the point you get this, defenses are going to be up. He's going to have his shields up. You'll need to hit 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 if you do not EV train, and we'll talk more about that here in a moment. But 2 to 3 times, defenses will fall. Your final hit, if you can Tera, great. If you can't, should be alright. In rare situations, it might not be, but usually it's pretty alright. Basically, that's a one shot, but once shields are down, he falls instantly to almost the first Stored Power hit. It's pretty wild. Now, your Mon will have to be level 100. No questions about it. And like my Mon, you will want to have something like Leftovers or Shell Bell or something on there to restore some HP. It's going to be really important. Healing is a major factor here. Now, Slowbro has a ton of defense and is a really fun Mon to run in this situation, but you're basically throwing him at the wolves and just waiting for him to fall. It works. It works just because he's so bulky, you know? So you do want to be realistic about this. As I said a moment ago about EV training, mine has good... actually, I don't know. Okay, mine is completely hyper-trained, so mine has the best stats. Hyper-training, I'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow in tomorrow's EV video, but basically, if you fly to Montenerva, right behind the Pokemon Center, there's a guy there with an Obama Snow. He'll ask you about EV training. If you've been collecting bottle caps from 5, 6, and maybe even some of the other 7-star raids, you could trade those bottle caps for a hyper-trained stat. In this case, all of mine are hyper-trained, which basically forces a best stat on there. So, every single one of these is the best it can be. But, only at the base level. Because you could still come over here and do what's called EV training This little extra, like, kind of yellow blob I have on top are my EVs. And once again, we'll talk about those tomorrow in the EV dedicated video. But essentially, it takes those really solid stats and makes them even better. And you want to have that special attack maxed out because that is really what's going to take your opponent apart, and quickly. If you do not have EV stats, you can expect 3 to 4 turns just to drop defenses. Where with my special attack up like this, most of the time it took 2. That's how good it is. These EVs are really, really, really solid. And we will talk about them, like I said, tomorrow in depth. But that is one build. This is the build that I used. There's another build that I predicted that actually turned out to be pretty good. A lot of people have given me good feedback on this build. And that would actually be... Why is Froakie there? Okay. So now I got to go find him. Okay, so in hindsight, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and build Vaporeon real quickly here because I think it's going to be fairly quick and easy. Now, number one, as I've always said before, you're going to need to make sure that your Pokemon is at level 100. That is super duper important. I've got 64 XL candies. So let's do 15 of them. Let's do 14 of them. There we go. We're up to level 94. And then how many larges will it take? 16 once again. And Eevee's up to level 100. Now, or I'll say Eevee. Vaporeon. Same difference. Not really, but I'm going to claim it. So my Vaporeon is actually really lucky. If we actually go back over to this screen here, not that screen, this screen here, you will see mine has all best stats, which is phenomenal. That is pure luck. I got this one on a Wonder Trade. If I didn't have these, I would want to go hyper train them, just like I mentioned before in the video on EVs. Now we'll once again drop tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Now, instead, if I go over here to summary, so I don't have to do any of that. So I have them up to level 100. Doesn't need to do any hyper training. Vaporeon's ready just to change moves. So, once again, stored power is going to be our biggie. Now, the interesting thing about Vaporeon over some of the other Mon here, if I go here, let's just go to Calm Mind. The user quietly forces its mind and calms its spirit into to boost special attack and special defense stats. Special attack and special defense. Here's the deal. Okay? Your special attack and your special defense stat is basically it's only going to go up one stat. It's not going to go up two like with the other stats we were talking about before. But if you get this off all 6 times, then you come down here and do stored power again, it still is going to hit like a truck. Now here's the deal. This one has baby doll eyes. Lowers the target's attack stat. Move always goes first. This is really nice. This is going to be really good for basically making sure you don't take an insane amount of damage. Remember, that's attack stat too. So you get special defense here, handling special, and then you've got just attack stat handling the gunk shot and night slash. So this is a really, really, really good build already. I'm going to do one change here, though. I'm going to get rid of Terra Blast. Okay? Let's go ahead and go to change moves, and I'm going to remember a move. And I'm going to remember a weird one here. So we're going to go down to Aqua Ring. User envelops itself in a veil made of water and regains HP every turn. So here's the deal, guys. We've got Water Absorb, right? So we're good on that front. And now we've got Aqua Ring. So every single turn we're going to be getting some stats. Now, that pretty much makes this mon just about ready for this event. Like, there's very little we're going to have to do. Now, I will have to do EV training, and I'm only going to save that for tomorrow's video just because it's a pretty cumbersome discussion in and of itself. But that more or less is it. The only other thing I'd really like to do, and I don't know if I actually have the item or not, but if I have a big root, I have a big root. Item held by a Pokemon, the root bonds, or I'm sorry, boosts the amount of HP the holder restores itself with. So if I actually give a big root to Vaporeon, that means that every single turn now where that heal is done with the Aqua Ring, it's going to get even bigger, even better. And if we're hit with Hydro Pump, we instantly get HP back because of Vaporeon's skill. So this mon should be even better on paper, at least, than Slowbro. And there might even be there's some attacks that lower attack that Vaporeon has and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities in here for Vaporeon to be even better. Main thing is, though, you need to make sure that you have something like Baby Doll Eyes that does at least some kind of stat changes. You need to make sure you're using stored power as your main attack. You got to have that big root. You got to have Aqua Ring. Once you do that, and obviously with Water Absorb, if you do not have Water Absorb on your Vaporeon, come over here and look for an ability capsule. There we are. Ability capsule will actually change will change the ability, but actually, more I'm thinking about it, I don't think Vaporeon. Let's check something out here. I don't think Vaporeon has another one. I think that's just the hidden ability is the other stat. I'm looking to verify here. So Vaporeon's ability is Water Absorb, and there is the hidden ability. But it's being a pain, it's not pulling up. So yeah, it shouldn't actually matter. You probably won't even have to do that. So there you go. If you got an Eevee build, you got a Slowbro build, go knock this out. Like, comment, share. Let me know what kind of success you got in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.